Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks, where we are going to do another unboxing today. We have something you've seen before and something slightly different. Does it look familiar to you? Could it possibly be the FINOW Q7 with a little bit more memory bumped up to the Q7 Plus? Look at how shiny this one is. That is not your brushed aluminum or stainless steel. This is very reflective and bright with a nice black leather band. We'll open it up with two loops to get into it. Show you that on the back we've got the charging dock, heart rate monitor, speaker, and a really big compartment to open up where you can put in a SIM card and a microSD card. You have two buttons and a camera. And if that looks familiar, it should, because here's the original Q7. Check it out. Exactly the same buttonology, exactly the same band. Let's pop that one open so you can see the back of it. Now, the leather bands are pretty stiff on these. They don't give much on either one of them. And of course, antennas are in the bands, so they're non-replaceable. And whether you get it in black or silver, it's going to be the same bands on both of them. The back is exactly the same with the charging dock, the SIM card slot, the speaker. It's pretty much physically exactly the same watch. So what else comes in the box? Well, let's take a look. Inside of here we have two smaller boxes, black boxes, one of which has, the specialized charging cable with a little angle on it, the curve, and the little pin. Now, this used to be really unique, but we're seeing it on several different watches. Here's the one, came with the original Q7. And it's pretty much the same wire. So it should be possible for you to get this unique and unusual charging cable from a variety of sources. FINOW or Limfo or some of the others that are using this kind of a charging cable. In addition, we have another box filled with, breathe it in, air from China. Yes, not Beijing air, mind you, but Shenzhen, China air. And that's really sweet. Wintertime, not quite as good as springtime, but I think this was packed with some springtime air in it. Yeah. We also have a manual. It says Smartwatch, and it's in English, and it's really small, so we'll take you through this and show you what you've got in this watch, which is identical so far from what we've seen to the original Q7. Now, the interesting thing about this watch, the Q7, first of all, is its display. The display is much smaller. It's 240 by 240 pixels. There's your QR code to scan for your tethering app. Okay. And it's 1.3 inches in diameter. This is all Chinese on this side. So that means that it's not going to be quite as sharp and clear as the fancy AMOLED screens are, but nonetheless, it still looks good. Here's the original FINOW one, and there's one of the stock watch faces that came with the original Q7, and it's nice and crisp. So smaller screen size, smaller number of pixels, and this is the most battery-hungry part of a watch, should start getting you close to a better battery life overall. But let's talk about the Plus. The Q7 originals here, the FINOW Q7 Plus coming to us from Gearbest, has 8 gigabytes of ROM in it. The original had 4 gigabytes, and that's the major difference. The RAM, unfortunately, is the same, and this one I got to give a non-check mark on this, and any other watch that still comes out with a half a gigabyte or 512 megabyte of RAM. In this day and age, it's ridiculous not to have at least 1 gigabyte and sometimes 2. Until you get to 1 gigabyte, you're not able to use speech-to-text recognition, so you have to peck away at the keyboard. We have a video up on that, and once you hit 1 gigabyte of RAM, you're able to, press the button and speak, and it'll start typing. Offline, mind you, offline, without connected to anything, speech-to-text recognition, as long as you have 1 gigabyte of RAM. This one had half a gigabyte and 4 gigabytes total, and they bumped it up from half a gigabyte to 8 gigabytes total. And as far as I can tell, that's the only difference. I believe the original is discontinued now, so if you want to buy a Q7, it's going to be the Plus. Check below for the discount. This one's currently in flash sale and really good price. If the price has gone up, check and see if we've got a discount for you down below. In terms of overall specs on the Q7 Plus now, we've got Android 5.1, as all these watches are coming out once again. 512 and 8 gigabytes, and an opportunity to install a separate memory card up to 32 gigabytes. Now remember, the memory card is for memory, not for apps. When you install apps, the apps have to go into the internal memory partition. And another drawback with only 512 megabytes is you can't put a whole lot of apps. But if you want just a few apps to play a lot of music while you're working out, this might be the watch for you, with longer battery life because of the smaller screen. Here's the network stuff, and comparing the specs of this one with the original Q7, a difference I see is the 3G, which is the WCDMA, here is 850 and 2100, and in the original Q7 it included 1900 megahertz, which is predominantly in the United States. I don't know globally. 850 is also a US band, so the two different bands gave you assurance of good coverage no matter whether you're urban or rural in the US. With the 850 only now and pulling out the 1900, I'm not sure what that means. Nor am I sure that these specs are absolutely correct, because the vendors are putting out sales literature and they're not in the back end of the technical end of it. So it could have 1900, or the original maybe didn't have 1900, and this has been corrected. Nonetheless, they both have 850/2100. It's got GPS, Bluetooth 4.0. There's the screen information. It's not AMOLED, it's capacitive. It's got a camera. Here it says it's 0.4 megapixels. Never heard of that size before. 0.3, yes. And that's what's on the original Q7. My guess is they're the same cameras. I don't think it would have gone up a tiny little bit like that. They're manufactured to certain diameters and specs, so it's really probably a 0.3. Good for them to be honest here and not try to fake us out that it's a 5 megapixel camera, because it's not. It's not going to be that clear. It's going to be a bit fuzzy, whatever pictures you take. Got the SIM card slot, TF card, media formats, languages are listed here. It does talk about the 2G and 3G. And it comes packed with a 430 milliamp hour battery. And according to the original specs that you can see on the original video review of the original FINOW Q7, that one had a 450 milliamp hour battery. So tiny little loss in battery, or the specs have just been corrected to match what's actually in the watch. That's what's in here. So let's grab it. Let's turn it on. See what comes up. I always guess wrong. They're different on different watches. I tried the bottom one. Let's try the top one. Okay, it's going to boot from the top. And it's got a pretty entry screen. The FINOW company has done nice on their beginning logo. FINOWWatch.com is where you want to go for any information on their watches. And they have that web address right in the opening screen, so you can't forget it. Isn't that colorful? Yeah. Smartwatch, it says. You've got the exact same bezel layout that we had on the original Q7, with it saying smartwatch where it would normally say like tachometer, and then the numbers running all the way around the screen like this. Now it seems to be taking exceptionally long to boot, and this is good for you to see this, because the first time you turn it on, it probably will take a long time. That's just characteristic of it unpacking and loading all of the software and firmware that was originally placed in there. So while it's booting, let me call your attention to this one. When you look at the And unfortunately, it's so stiff I can't stand it up for you. I don't have a pillow right here. So keep an eye on there. Let me know when that goes away. When you go into the watch faces, you have a variety of them to choose from. And you see that little thing showing up? That's a new feature that's telling you that you have notifications. So you have a notification marker. When you pull down, you get the notifications. And here's what has been pushed, basically saying a download is complete. Please click to, but not the rest of the message. So when you get notifications as set up through your phone tethering from the different apps that you've got, yes, it can push here, but no, you're not going to get a lot, and no, you're not going to be able to answer. Again, this is not really a full tethering watch. It's mostly a standalone smartwatch. And so you're not going to have a whole lot of additional things in notifications. But at least I have one to show you. When you swipe up, you get this panel here. I'm showing you on this one because this is supposed to be identical. We'll do a quick look when it finally comes up, but I want to keep moving. I got the date and time and the charge level. I come over here and you have all these different icons where you have the big or small square within a circle zoom display for third-party apps, or full display all the way around. So some apps, as you know, you can't get to the corners, so you click on that one and that'll bring it small so you can get to your menu items, and then when you're done you can expand it back out again. That'll turn your Bluetooth on. The second one is Wi-Fi. The third one that looks like a top hat with a rabbit ready to jump out is actually the image of a watch. See, it looks like a watch, doesn't it, with light coming out? And that is your twist arm to show time display. And this last one is your power savings mode, which you saw turned off our Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So I'm going to turn them back on. Down here at the bottom are your brightness levels 1, 2, and 3. And of course, they're ridden if I put the display brightness slider in here. I'm not sure if I have it in or not. Usually I have it on the right-hand side. It's an app. But if you don't have that, then this will change the brightness for you, so you have different degrees of brightness to work with. And all of that is easy by just sliding up, sliding over. Slide one more time, you got to clean all, which basically cleans out all the background apps that you have running. You cannot go in and select individually from the running apps like you can on some other implementations of Android 5.1. Good, we're up over here. And then the last tab is for weather. So, all right, those all went back. Sliding down gets me back here. Sliding to the left gets me to the last one of a whole series of icons like this. You see them going across the top there? The last one being settings, and then it comes back to time, and it loops again. And that's really, really cool that you have that left-right capability. It used to be to get to settings, you had to go this way, which to me looks like you're going to the right to get there. But now you can just go back one level to get there. So I'm going to interrupt at this point, pick us up off of this watch, and show you that if I press and hold here, come back, I'm at the exact same watch face. And if I press and hold, and we parade through these, you see that they're the same. Oops. Okay. Not going to go into each and every one of them, although maybe I am. It seems to be wanting to do that. These are all the stock FINOW watch faces. And they don't appear to have changed from the regular to the plus. By golly. Whoops. Oh, look. That would take me back. I don't want to go back. There we go. Here. That one. You want to see any of these close up? Okay, that looks almost a little bit different, but not really. The blue is just a little more pronounced here. Well, what does that look like? Okay, they both have that squirrely thing going, but this one has a little bit brighter blue, doesn't it? Looks like they modified the watch face slightly and toned down that blue aura that's on the outside, made it a little softer. Or that just could be the brightness display affecting it. This is hard to do on 2 watches and not have it come back up. You got to really scroll it all the way to the next one, or it's going to jump back on you. See that? That's on the original one. Do it faster, maybe. There we go. And that's it. Now, you see this with the little minus sign? These are the ones that I've downloaded from the server. When you're connected to the internet, you press that, and you get all these different watch faces and more that you can download just simply by accepting them. You got to be connected to Wi-Fi, and they'll show up, and you can install them on your watch. Simple as that. Yeah. Okay. Now, you see let's pick something here. You see the boundary around the outside? You see the white coming all the way almost to the very edge? A lot of people like to know about the bezel and the little black between the bezel and the actual watch itself. It's pretty small here, but nonetheless, it's a 1.3-inch diameter screen as well, so it's a small watch to begin with, right? And it doesn't have a whole lot of black pattern, but when you look at it, to me, it looks still kind of small. The active area of the watch looks a bit small compared to the overall diameter of the watch when you include the rather large bezel with it as well. But it's up to you. It's just look and feel. What do you like? The black is good and solid and somewhat shiny, but the silver definitely shows fingerprints, is really, really shiny. Okay. We've gone through that. Let's just verify that if I went down, I get my notifications. If I went up, I get this page, followed by that page. Oh, okay. New layout. Look at this. It's a bit different. There's Bluetooth instead of down here at the corner, and Wi-Fi. That is cellular networks turned on and off. You don't have that feature here. So there have been. I'm going to turn it on. Oh, it's staying on. All right. That's your power savings. It's over on this side, and it turned those off. That one right in the middle is for turning your hand to see the thing. Here's the an airplane mode that isn't on this one. There's your brightness levels. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the zoom display. Here you have 2 buttons for it. Here it's integrated into one. See that? Okay, this is your brightness levels. There's full bright. There's lowest. And middle. And then the last one is your location data. You don't have any of those. I'm going to disagree because I don't want to go into that. But you don't have airport or cellular or location services on this one. So that's been a bump up in the firmware implementation on this one. Come over here. You got that same clean all. You got the weather. And that's it. Come back to the watch faces. Turn them off and twist them, and they come up with the actual watch face, which is characteristic of FINOW. They do that. Some of the older other brands would just give you a digital time right there. And then you go to the right, and we have a different layout here. Instead of this layout like this, to get through everything major, they're in this scrolling dial, which gives you direct access to a lot of them instead of just the basic full categories. So let's walk through these real quick. Phone is going to be self-explanatory. It uses a SIM card. It's not dual mode. You have to have the SIM in here to make phone calls. Settings we'll come back to. Your watch helper is the information you can set up for the tethering, and it's pretty hard to see. It's grayed out because we don't have ourselves all set up for tethering, but these are options that you can choose from. You got the camera. We'll look at that in a moment. Your overall contacts ties up with the phone. Oh, by the way, if you're on your Google account, your Google contacts will appear here. You have the health area, which is where you can set up your basic information for doing your health fitness stuff. And this is all used to calculate things like your calories burned. This is really nice. Step size, if you can accurately put in your cadence, your stride, your step length, you can then know that when it calculates your steps and multiplies that times your step length and comes up with your distance traveled, that it's going to be more accurate than these watches that just take the standard default. You simply confirm your settings and you're out of there and ready to go. And then these are circles that shows your accomplishment for the day in terms of steps. And I'm not sure what the yellow one is. It's that muscular guy pumping iron. That might be calories. Not sure. I'd have to play with that, I guess. And what does the bottom button do? Takes us back one level. Good. All right. Health, heart rate. Your basic heart rate starting this should turn on the diodes. There they are, flashing. And I'm going to just leave it here for a minute because we want to see if it can measure or not. And it doesn't. Good. The measurement failed. I like to see that because that's telling us that it's actually looking for your finger or your arm to make sure that it's connected properly to get the capillary reading. We've seen watches in the past that will give you, I don't know, 80, 70, 60, somewhere bouncing around in that range when it's just reading air. And we wonder whether or not that's legitimate reading or not. Here I'm coming back at 80. Wouldn't doubt that. I'm talking really fast. Had a little bit of caffeine and I'm pumping. So it says I'm still relaxed, 76. And it's working, giving us that information for health rate. You've got messages, again, tied in with your SIM card for text messaging. Your music, which is playing off of whatever's in the device. So if you have your microSD card in there, loaded up with music, it should index it and you should be able to play it. When you go into tools, now you get everything else. The Google Play Store, an onboard sound recorder, your voice search for Google, whether or not you're on your Google account. If you're on Wi-Fi and you're connected, you should be able to do voice search. Your weather, different alarms, the app store that comes with it. Again, you got to be on the internet and stuff. This is going to be apps, watch apps, the standard ones like Facebook and Twitter and things like that that you can access. A barometer is tied in with the weather, and you have to have location services on, and you turn on GPS, and then you got to agree, and yes, you want it now, and all of that is open for high accuracy. And then on top of all of that, you need to be outside and get GPS, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So you have a barometer. You have your basic browser, a lame standard calendar. It just shows you the days of the week and the current day, although that's not right. It's like, well, it is. There you go. It's November 27th right now. So you have a calendar. You have your downloads in case you're doing any of that. Here's your file manager where you can see what's here. It says there's an available 4.27 gigabytes. What? I thought it was an 8 gigabyte watch. It is, because the operating system, firmware, and whatever else is in there is taking up some of the space. You have a total of 5.39. I've got some things, I guess, in here that dropped it down to 4.27. Some watch faces? No, I don't know. I don't have anything in here. So anyway, it's saying that I've got available a little over 4 gigabytes. And if you think about it, when this was just a 4 gigabyte watch, and it took up a bunch of stuff with the operating system, you pretty much had hardly anything. So let's go here to settings, to file manager. Oh, it's not a setting, it's an app. Apps to file manager. Yeah, see, I got a whole bunch of stuff in here. And this said that, see, I only have like 563 megabytes left out of a total of 4. And most of that's apps that are loaded in there. Wow, that's interesting though, isn't it? There says total is 4. Here total was 5.39. Yet this is an 8 gigabyte watch and this is 4. How come this is so much fatter in terms of whatever's eating up the memory? Good question. Somebody technical out there, let us know, okay? In the comments section. That would be good information. You got your gallery for pictures that you take, the overall Google app. And then, of course, any of the apps that you want to install yourself, like I've shown you on the Q7, would go in here as well. So we played with all of it except for the camera. Let's go back and catch that. There we go, all the way back. Come back up here. I know I saw a camera somewhere. Here's the camera. Let's reach over here and grab this little piece of paper. It says Smartwatch. I always have fun trying to figure out how to bring it in. There we go, Smartwatch. I have a video or I have a picture. There's a picture. This is a short little video of the word Smartwatch moving on the screen, just for a test. Saving it, and now we can call it back up again. Here's the video. It's a square. You can hardly hear the sound. And some of these settings I'm sure you can change, and I may not have the volume up very loud on this one. And there's the actual still picture we took. Now we're going to test the pinch and zoom capability. Pinching would mean it's got two finger recognition, which it doesn't. See, it just slides. I can't pinch and zoom on this one. Double tap. There we go. Double tap is what brings it up large. Double tap again brings it small. So there's 3 different ways you can zoom. Pinch and zoom, 1 time double tap, 2 times double tap. 2 times meaning the first time it would zoom a little bit, the second time would zoom it again larger. Some watches support that. So in the overall spreadsheet that I'm keeping on all of these watches, I've added a column. You'll see in an update of that spreadsheet on pinch and zoom for the watches with cameras that will tell you what type it is. This is a 1x double tap for zooming into images on the screen. Okay, the gallery is where you would have the pictures and the videos. Anything else you want to see? I think that pretty much covers it. Okay, for those of you really interested in this watch, a couple of more things. Yes, you can put in custom watch faces in both of these watches, and I'm going to insert right now a few of the clippets from the original review of the original Q7 that talk about some stuff I didn't cover in this review, so you can catch up. Again, this is a custom watch face, and to the left of here I have all sorts of other custom faces that I've installed. Some of my favorites, and they all work perfectly, and they use the original way it's always been done for our FINOW type watches. So all of the watch face reviews that we've done with all of the links to all of the faces, and I'll put a link down below that lists all of them, so you can go look at the review videos of the watch faces and then select the ones you want, go to the originator site, hit the link that gets to their download page and download them and put them on your watch. And then we've got this big old panel right here, which I let my fingernails grow a little bit. Let's see if I can do it. I might need a tool from the box. Nope, I got it. You just lift it up, and there you go. Inside is where you put your SIM card. And there, inside, she said she would send this to me, is a 32 gigabyte card. Now yours won't come with this. Yours won't come with any card at all, unless you take advantage of the special, and when you order, ask for the 8 gigabyte card, because you saw the review on our channel here, and they'll send you an 8 gigabyte card. In the meantime, I got 32 to play with there. There's a heart rate sensor kind of stuff going on, and big snap-on easy in, easy out panel. So you can like pull this out, put it in your computer or your friend's phone or whatever, transfer music data, whatever you want to it, and without a screwdriver, pop the thing open and get inside. Because of that, though, too, the trade-off is you're not going to see much waterproofing from this watch. It's going to be water splash resistant at best, so don't get it too wet. This is not really an outdoor sports watch. This is obviously, look at the band. This is a very nice dress watch. You're going to want to wear that out on the town. Ooh, sweet. Okay, why not? They got a camera on the side. We're going to turn it on. And I brought with me today my solar vibrating butterfly. Whoa, and there he is. Why? Because he presents a lot of motion for us, and I can record it. Hi everybody, this is a vibrating butterfly, and we're checking out the recording capability, the video recording capability of our brand new FINOW Q7 watch. Saving it. There it is on the side. Let's play it. I can double tap. Audio is really soft. I can move it around. I guess that's it? Maybe. Okay. It's louder when it actually plays, so you can hear the speakers loud. It's just that the mic's picking up for the recording. Playback through the watch isn't all that loud. You could export this to your computer or your phone, I guess, and play it back there, and maybe it would be louder. But we get a nice picture overall, and you have the ability to double tap and make it bigger or take it back to size. And single brings up the pause. You'll see that in a little bit when I play a video for you as well. Okay, bottom button takes us back one. There we go, and we're back to the camera. We have a still picture capability there. And there was nothing to take a picture of, but there it is, a little bit of my hand. So that's the camera. Now, I saw some stuff here. Come back here. There, look at that, ×1. Oh, I have a zoom? Really? Come here, butterfly. Where are you? Did it just zoom? What happened? Oh, I just went over to there. You saw it say +1, didn't you? Dang, I wish I knew how to do this stuff before I mess with this and waste your time. Pension zoom? Yeah, 1.1, 1.3. Look at that, everybody. You have 2-finger sensitivity. First of all, that's an amazing thing to know. And you can actually use it. Look at that. I have 10 hours and 59 minutes because this is recording to the 32 gigabyte internal SD card. You think my battery's going to last longer than my SD card? I don't think so. And I can zoom it while I'm recording. It's a tiny screen to try to squeeze on, but it works. And of course, this is obviously going to be a long review, isn't it? Hello. There you go. And that's zoomed in all the way. Double tap it if you want to really see it up close. So a nice, robust camera with zoom capability. And because of having an actual SD card installed, and the default being to record it to the SD card, there you see I'm zooming out again, lets you have pretty much endless use of the camera on this watch. And then I made this one for movies. And this is almost an hour-and-a-half video of Planet Earth 2 from National Geographic. Tiny little square, but you double tap it, and it comes up full.
From 2 miles above the surface of the Earth, it's impossible not to be impressed by the sheer grandeur and splendor and power of the natural world.
Nice, huh? Good, clean quality, no staggering in the image. It's running nicely. Can we do any of this? Oh, look at that. You can actually zoom in. All right, I got a little carried away. Double tap to make it bigger if you want. Pinch to zoom. All right. Then you have this thing here that you can change it. Aspect ratio, right? So you can have it more of a square or the theater kind. It's kind of cut off at the... There we go. Okay, now it looks tall and skinny because it's not formatted for that. There, it's formatted properly. You have this button that lets you share it using Bluetooth or messages. So if it's a picture or a video clip that you recorded, you can export it via Bluetooth, probably to your phone, or through messages if you have a SIM card. All right? And finally, you get to settings at the very end of the run. And in the settings, you have your ability to turn on your Wi-Fi and set it up. You have connectivity for Bluetooth, cellular, if you have a card in there, airplane mode, GPS, and VPN. I do not see a hotspot capability in this watch. Some of them have it. Kind of ridiculous on a watch to run it as a Wi-Fi hotspot when you barely get data transferred to it and you got a tiny battery. But nonetheless, it's there. Here's where you could put in your emergency contact, and you put in whatever number you want it to dial. I don't know if that's enough digits. Save it. Oops. Okay, now it's there, and I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to hit and hold that button, tap the SOS, and that's where it would attempt to make that SOS call to the number that you put in, as long as you have a SIM card in the watch. Nice feature if you plan on having a SIM card installed that gives you phone connectivity. Okay. Sorry, gang. All the way over settings. That was in the emergency contact. Date and time is your basic stuff. Network, you can set this time zone or do it manually. You can change it to AM, PM, all the typical stuff there. Display capability for adjusting the brightness level however much you want. It's not working much right now because I haven't. Sometimes I install the display brightness. I don't think I have it on this one right now. No, I don't. Well, all right, it's not really showing much of a difference in brightness. Even at its softest, which is right there, it's still pretty bright. So I would suggest you install the app Display Brightness. It may or may not be in the Google Play Store. It was there, it was pulled, it was back, it was gone. I have it in links, other places, other videos. I'll try to remember to put a link to Display Brightness in this video at the bottom. You can download it from there. And it gives you a little slider that you can go up and down on the screen, no matter where you are, even on your watch face, to dynamically adjust the brightness. Highly recommend that one. You can adjust the sleep time from as short as 15 seconds to as much as 30 minutes. And interface style. Here you go. This is where you can have your third-party apps either in a full circle or in a little square inside the circle. And you do that so that you can get to the menus. And that's really important on a lot of different apps. If you can't get to that corner menu, you can't do settings, for example. So I'm going to leave it in that one for right now. Your default clock is the watch face, and it brings up all of your options. Ooh, I like this one a lot. That one's just like there. It's set. A wallpaper clock, and you can choose whatever background image you want. I guess it's reading everything that I've got in here now. And you can create your own wallpaper clock. No, we're not going to go through that. You'll play with that on your own. This is the thing I was talking about, display unread notifications. Not sure, because I don't have it tethered, and I don't know how that works, but this is something new, which I presume will display any unread notifications that come in right on top of your watch. Maybe turn it on and show them to you, like it would on a phone. So that's a new feature. I'll leave it on in case I get around to doing all that. That's in display. Sound is sound. You have the ability to change your different tones. Good and loud, you hear that? So the watch is loud. It's just a matter of things like movies and a sound recorder being able to keep up with that level of volume. Here's where you set your overall volumes. I have them cranked all the way up. Again, those are all changeable. Watch ringtone, notification, sounds you can change to anything else you want. And you can have the phone vibrate. Seen all that before, nothing new here. Move along, move along. Back we go to the power savings. This is where you have that bright screen thing, so when you twist your arm, you see the time. And yes, when you twist your arm, you see the time of the watch face that you have selected on this one, not the digital time that you see on a lot of the watches. FINOW and number one will prove it. have stuck with that. Here's an automatically disconnect apps in the background to save power. And of course, you can turn on overall power setting. I have that turned on now. I'm going to come back here and turn it off. And when I twist it, it comes to that watch face, which is the one you want. It goes out fairly quickly. So one of the deciding factors people are buying these watches on is whether they get their default watch face with the twist thing, or whether they get a little digital display that you have to touch the screen while the digital display is on in order to get your watch face. If you don't like that style, you need a number one or a FINOW watch, period. Because these guys, that's how they do it. All right, I got to go over here into settings, and we're going down. We just did the power savings, text to speech. I have turned on text to speech. When you talk, it turns it into words. We saw that in the OK, Google thing, in the Google app, and in the voice search capability. But it probably eats up a lot of power. So my guess is they're giving you the option to turn off things that if you don't use them would drain the battery. It's got to be listening for your voice if it's turned on, right? And that takes power. Here's where you'd reset the device. And that's common in all of these. And uninstall any of your installed apps. We only did that one health app so far. And then more settings. Okay. Here's your battery. It tells us right now we're at 88%. I like that one. That's just on that one thing when you scroll it down. Kind of a waste to be buried this deep in here, but a lot of the watch faces show your battery. Language and input. This watch ships with these languages installed. Pick out your favorite. Good selection. I can read a lot of them, and then it gets down into some of these, and I really don't know what I'm looking at. Well, wow, there's a whole lot of them, aren't there? Good selection of languages. You can change and install your own custom keyboards. You can select the keyboard. You can have the Google Voice typing, and right now the keyboard that's installed is the Pinyin Me keyboard. And security, if you want to lock your screen, you actually can do that. This is where you turn on unknown sources so that you can download apps from other places than the Google Play Store. Your call settings, if you have a SIM card in here, more capabilities than normal, like call forwarding, barring phone calls, and additional settings that you get actually into the phone company's settings. Your messages, getting message notifications or muting that and making it give you a sound or vibrate. A lot of capabilities here. Apps. Here's our different apps. What happens if I touch it? Aha, this is where you can force stop it or uninstall it or clear the data or clear the cache. The common things that we've seen in the Android 4.4, when it went to Android 5.5 in the watch, that was gone. They've brought it back. Very, very good. And finally, about the equipment, where you would check for a wireless update, turn on developer options if you need to. Hey guys, do not do this. Do not go into developer options and decide you want to change the screen resolution. You'll really mess yourself up. The touch thing won't work with respect to what you're seeing on the screen, and you never can get it back. You have to flash firmware to your watch to erase it all and set it back up again. Don't do that, okay? I don't even know if it's in here, but if it is, and you can change the screen resolution, you don't want to ever go there. I get comments every now and then, people going, I did this, can you help me? And I say, you got to flash your phone. Status tells you about your battery stuff, your SIM stuff, your IMEI, your IP address stuff, The model number is a Q7. This is Android version 5.1. And it's running all of these things. The kernel date is what we look at, Wednesday, May the 10th, 2017. There's a build number and a custom build number, but that kernel number is where we are currently on this watch, just being released. Check yours when you get it. See if it's newer than that. If it is, something may have been done, and it might run a little differently on yours than it does on the one you're looking at here. Wireless update, we tap that. It's going to go out and check. If there is anything waiting for push, it'll do it. It's called an OTA, over-the-air update, and I don't have one waiting for me. So that's what you do every now and then, especially if we tell you you need to do an update for something. All right, I'm going one by one back, and there we are. So the only real difference of this particular watch, like we said, is the fact that it's got 8 gigabytes of ROM rather than 512, and a little bit of enhancement in the way it's handling some of the stuff on the Android 5.1 firmware. That may be available on the original if you do a firmware update. Those of you who know, if it does, let me know in the show notes. I simply don't have time to go through every watch and keep them all updated on firmware. What firmware level do you have on your watch, and are you getting this kind of a layout on your basic Q7? You're definitely seeing that on the Q7 Plus, and the Q7 Plus is coming to us from Gearbest. It's available right now. You can check the show notes down below for a buying link. Should take you to this flash sale. Depending on when you're watching that, if the flash sale's over, look for a coupon associated with this buying link, and you may be able to pick it up at a discount. As usual, if you're able to buy through the link of our sponsors that provide us the watches for review, it encourages them to give us more new watches, and there'll be a lot coming out in 2018. So your support and help helps us to support you back again. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks and a fast little overview on the brand new Q7 Plus and a comparison with the original Q7. If you like what you see, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up or a like, and any comments you got, we welcome those. A lot of folks read them, including FINOW. Take care. We'll see you again soon.